is LAINN, and welcome to the LifeKraft podcast. LifeKraft is passionate about helping you live your everyday life better by sharing inspiration, awareness, and tools to enable you to create a fulfilling life. What if the phrase, money can't buy happiness, was a lie? Albert van Wyk, Millionaire 22, entrepreneur and author, believes it is a lie. And when you bust that belief, you will experience more joy, success, and fulfillment in all areas of your life. In our second interview with Albert, he talks about the topics he shares in his latest book, How to Buy Your Happiness, to help you take the necessary steps not only to build wealth, but to build happiness for generations to come. Be sure to share your thoughts and takeaways with us in a positive review or tag at the LifeKraft and at Albert van Wyk on social media and let us know what your aha moment was. Albert, welcome to the LifeKraft podcast again. It's always a pleasure having you here and being able to talk with you. Today I want to do an amazing discussion that I've been excited to have about your latest book, called How to Buy Your Happiness. So I'm very happy that you're here. I hope you're having a great day. Welcome.
Hi, Melissa. Yeah, it's always great to be on your show, on your podcast. It's always great speaking with you. Just, similar mindsets, thinking differently. It's very insightful to meet people and speak with people that thinks a little bit differently about life instead of the normal stereotypes. So I always enjoy our chats. So I'm very excited to be here again today. I'm looking forward to what we're going to talk about.
Thank you. I'm honored for you to say that because I feel that way about you. The reason why I always like having discussions with you is you're changing the narrative when it comes to what a millionaire can be, the age that you can be a millionaire, how you can create that wealth, and how you can create that wealth mindset. So your latest book's title is How to Buy Your Happiness. That is a little controversial and I like it because the old saying goes that you can't buy happiness. But usually I've seen memes on TikTok, etc. They say, yeah, if you think you can't buy happiness, it's just because you don't know how to spend the money or you don't know how to have money in your life. But I know that for a really long time in my own life, I believed what I now consider that limiting belief that money can't buy happiness.
And it is a limiting belief. I mean, you're 100% right. The way that you called it a limiting belief. And that is something I opened the book with saying that, I've discovered a secret, something that's been keeping my ancestors poor. This little line of money can't buy happiness have kept my great-grandparents, my grandparents, my parents, and all the ancestors before me poor because they believed that limiting belief. They believed that line. So you're very right in saying it is a limiting belief. And if we can start to change that thinking and change that line to, money can buy happiness, then it just opens the whole world for you.
So I know as a coach, it really is possible to change a belief, but it can be quite hard. And I know for years I had that belief and it kept me in a poverty mindset. So you say in the beginning of your book that you found that secret. And the secret is that you can absolutely buy happiness. And then money is that tool that allows you to do that. So I would like to know, what is happiness to you? Because I think if we have to deconstruct it a bit, we need to look at that. And you look at that in the book as well. So what is happiness to you? And how can money help you find that? Because we want to know in 2022.
Happiness to me is living my purpose, living my dream every day. And I've done 2 years of research on the topic of, what is happiness? What's the science behind it? And everything is in the book. And there's a lot of science behind it, a lot of chemicals, a lot of things in your physiology, in your body that makes you a happy person. But in the end, it all comes down to, are you living with purpose? Are you living the life that you want to live? Do you feel that your life is meaningful? Do you feel that you're improving in life, going forward in life? Are you enjoying what you're doing every day? And that, in essence, creates happiness. There's a lot more details that we can go into in this interview, but that, in essence, gives me happiness. The fact that I know I can do what I want to do, what I have to do, what I feel my purpose is on earth, and I can do that every day, and that gives me so much happiness. Because you're just living the life that you're meant to live, and once you get to that point, it almost feels like everything just falls into place, because that is what you were meant to do. Your body works with you, your mind works with you. It feels like everything around you just works for you and with you when you get to that point. I think a lot of authors call it the flow state. It's a state where you go into where everything just works for you, and that state is what makes me happy. It's what gives me happiness. And I always say, people ask, why are you so happy all the time, and why are you smiling all the time? And that's how I'm living on dream juice. It feels like I'm dreaming with my eyes wide open, because everything that I've dreamt of and everything that I've been dreaming of my life as growing up, and as growing in life, I'm currently living that dream today. I'm doing all those things that I've always dreamt about, that I always wanted to do. And then that is why I'm so happy. So that's where my happiness comes from. And I just thought, if I can share these concepts with the rest of South Africa, and I can show them how to be able to live their dream, how to be able to live their purpose, then they can live on dream juice too. And they can also be happy every day.
So, how do we start changing that mindset? Because I know after studying a lot of high performers and getting my mindset in a whole different playing field and starting to attract people like you into my life, friends who are millionaires and wealthy and living abundant lives. It's not just about the finances in the bank or the net worth. They have abundance in all areas, and you get into that in the book. That is why you do what you do. But how do we start changing that mindset from judging, from copping out, not taking full responsibility for our lives and our experience, to getting onto that playing field where you're with millionaires, where you are thinking like they are thinking, where you're doing what they're doing?
Yeah, I think the first step is being brutally honest with yourself. And, I can now tie into your question, where did I start? Where do I come from? And that's one of the first things that my dad taught me. When I was very young, first of all, I wasn't born into a wealthy family. My parents weren't entrepreneurs. They weren't business owners. They weren't property investors. We didn't have a trust fund. We didn't have businesses, properties, monies. My parents were not millionaires. And when I got to school, I realized in primary school that the kids around me had a lot of toys and clothes and gadgets and things that we couldn't afford. I was poor in comparison to all of the kids at my primary school. And I realized that, because when you're very young, you don't pick it up. But when I became about 10 years old and kids started getting cool stuff, and I asked my parents for that, and they said, no, sorry, we can't afford that. Then I started realizing, look, here's something different. Something's not right. Why can't we buy these things? And then I started to understand the concept of money. And I asked my dad, why can't we afford these things? And what I loved about his answer was that he was brutally honest. Most parents would come up with some sort of excuse to say, no, we're okay, we're fine, don't worry about money, and a lot of parents do that, and kids think their parents are okay because their parents are telling them that they're okay. And then they link their parents' behavior to being okay. And in actual fact, when they do the same things their parents did, they find out that they're in debt and they're not okay. But that's another discussion on its own. But my dad was brutally honest, and he said, you know what, Albert, I'm not a millionaire, and I cannot teach you how to become one. And then And then he said, but this guy knows. And he gave me my first business book to read. And he said, you know what, read this book. This guy knows. And I read my first business book at age 10. And then you realize, you do not know everything. And you see, that's where it starts. By becoming self-aware and saying that I do not know everything about money. I am poor. And then you can say from there on, okay, how do I now fix this? It's like, when you're sick, you notice you're sick, and then you go to the doctor to, see a doctor, and so that he can fix you and become healthy. And the same thing is when you're poor, you need to accept that and say, look, hey, I am financially sick. There's something wrong here. Let me fix it. And I think too many people out there are not honest with themselves. The first part of becoming wealthy is to be brutally honest and say, look, I know where I am right now and I need to change it. And the rest of the story, is in the book. I started reading business book after business book. I started my first business at 10 years old. I did the next business, the next business, the next business. Grew all these businesses, bigger, read more books. At age 19, I bought my first property, and that's where the big stuff really started. Today I'm 28 years old. I have a lot of properties, a lot of small businesses that's doing very well over these last 2 years. So successful businesses. So I went on this journey of being in a position where my family was not wealthy, to now being in a position where I have successful businesses, where I've been able to employ my mom and give her the biggest salary she's ever received in her life, being able to start a business with my dad after he was retrenched, to him now receiving the biggest salary that he's ever received in his life, working with my brother in business. He also now owning property, and we're building a bigger business every day. So from this point of our family starting out in a place where we are not wealthy to a point now where we have a lot of things, we have a lot of properties, and we have a lot of businesses. And during that journey, starting to realize that, hey, it's not just the wealth. We're getting wealthier, but something else is also happening. We are feeling more happy. We're feeling more free. We're feeling more energized on a daily basis. Our relationships are becoming better and closer. There's something else that's happening here. And that's the question that was on my mind. Why is this happening? What am I missing here? And then I started realizing, and this epiphany only came to me in like about end of 2018, begin 2019, where I realized, you know what? I think money can actually buy happiness. Because up until that point, I also wondered about that. And, you still have those deep feeling, thoughts in your mind that when you make a lot of money, you still have that, your grandfather or whoever telling you, no, money is bad and you should watch out what you do with this money, and almost feeling guilty for, being very successful and buying the car and buying the house and stuff. And then up at about in 2019, about this epiphany just hit me, and I said, you know what? Money is actually buying us happiness. And then I went on a 2-year journey to research why this is true. And through the science and through the everything that I've researched and through my own journey and experiences, I came to the conclusion that money can indeed buy happiness. And I explain how in my book.
Yes, and I love that you explain it in so much detail in the book, because firstly, I just want to say, if you're like thinking about, wow, your dad didn't give you a business book to read at the age of 10, just remember all of our parents had their limitations. I mean, my mom didn't do that with me. I would have loved that, but maybe I wouldn't have even read it, because we're all on our own journey. So wherever you are is perfect for you to start. I always feel like I started a bit late in life, and that's absolutely fine, because you have the time to make up for the years that you think you lost. And all of our parents had their limitations, but we're scared to make the first moves. we don't know where to start. I know there are people listening to this because that was me a couple of years ago. You're like, yes, Albert, yes, I want that. I want that type of life. I want to feel that way. I want to be able to give my mom the biggest salary she's ever had in her life. But flippin' hell, I'm stuck in a 9-to-5 job, which I don't care for. I'm surrounded by poverty. Everyone I know, my friends, my family, always speak ill of wealthy people. They're bad and they blame the economy and they just say that we were born like into that and that money isn't everything. How am I going to start? Where do I start?
Well, let me break it down for you. So the first place to start with is breaking the belief so that money is bad. And there's a chapter in the book that speaks to what you were just saying. You know, money doesn't make you bad. It just makes you more who you are. So if you're already a great person, you'll just become greater. If you're already a giver, you'll start giving more. If you're already a nice person, you'll become nicer. If you're already a bad person, you'll become worse with more money. If you're already jealous person or a stingy person, you'll become more stingy and jealous. If you're already a person that wants to destroy things, you'll destroy more things if you have more wealth. So money doesn't change you who you are. It just makes you more who you are already. So that's one thing to just think about, to break those beliefs that money will corrupt you or money is bad or money is, going to change you or change who you are. And that's something I've seen through my journey. Like you said, my parents were the best parents that I could ever ask for. They were always motivating me to do things. And even though they didn't have the financial resources to give me all the things that I wanted when I was younger, they always motivated me to go for it. And whenever I had these crazy business ideas, I don't want to be my parents. Like I always wanted to sell some weird thing or start some weird business because it's something I read in a book and now I want to implement it. And shame. I could imagine their position, this little kid trying all these weird stuff, selling toys and now I'm fixing bicycles. And then at one time I was selling a rooi peper pille at church as a dietary supplement or something. So they were always motivating me to do something, just to go bigger, to go for it. And for that, I'm very thankful. But to realize that, money will just make things more, amplify things and make you more who you are. And if you can break the money barrier and say, okay, money is a tool. Money can buy things that I need to live my life. Money can enable me. If that's the starting point, that's step one. Then you're saying, okay, now I don't have a blockage towards money. Now I know that I need money for my dream.
And it's okay to need it. I just want to interject and say that it's okay to want money.
Absolutely.
It's okay to want money. That's fine. You're allowed to want money.
You have to break that barrier. And it's not just want. You need it. Whatever your dream might be, you're going to need it. A lot of people say, Albert, no, I don't want to talk about money and these things. I just want a happy family. And then I say, okay, let's calculate it. What does a happy family cost? You need a house. You need a roof, right? Then you need food. A hungry family is not a happy family. You need Christmas presents. That costs money, right? You need a dog, okay? A dog wants a lawn. If you want green grass on your lawn, it costs extra. Like even a happy family costs money. And it doesn't matter what it is, you need money. And then the second step is, what are you going to buy with that money? If you understand that, yes, okay, I need money to live my life and to live my dream. The second step is, what is your dream? What is your purpose? What do you want to do? And if you want to go like to Mars, like Elon Musk, then you're going to need $57 billion, right? Calculate it. What do you need? If you just want to go fishing every day, then you might need 10,000 Rand a month. That's it. What is your dream and what is it going to cost? So that's step two. Finding out where you're going and what that's going to cost. If you're currently stuck in a day job that you don't like, that you hate, then calculate. What do you want in life? Do you want to live on the beach every day, and work from your home? Maybe open a restaurant. Maybe you want to be a full-time artist or musician. Like, go and do the math. Sit on your bed, write down what your life needs to look like 10 years from now. Imagine it. What are you doing 10 years from now at this time? I'm sitting on the beach, I'm reading a book, I'm maybe coaching someone a sport, I'm maybe, participating in an event or playing music on stage. I am maybe, engineering a building. I'm maybe, what are you doing 10 years from now? And go calculate what that lifestyle will cost you. And now that becomes your dream and you've put a price on it. That's step 2. So step 1, you know that money is not bad. It enables you to live your dream. Step 2 is finding out what that dream is and what it would cost. And this is the part where now you can be brutally honest and say, I need this money because this is my dream and I don't have it. And then that brings you to step 3. How do I get it? And that is the game changer. That is what put me on the journey to where I am today. Thinking to yourself, okay, how do I get it? Taking responsibility for yourself to reach that dream. And by the way, that is my definition of entrepreneurship. Not this big, scary thing that everyone makes it. You don't, to be a business owner or entrepreneur, you don't have to have a big, massive building in Sandton with 100 employees and a Lamborghini and a private jet and on the cover of Forbes magazine. You don't need that. Entrepreneurship is basically this: being able to imagine a future that doesn't yet exist, that dream, and then taking the responsibility upon yourself to make that dream a reality. And that's the step 3. Now saying, what do I need to generate this money to fund my dream? And the obvious answer will be entrepreneurship and business. You're going to have to start becoming financially independent so that you don't stand and wait for money at the end of the month, but so that you can create as much money as you need to fund your dream. And then from there, the rest is easy. You can learn about credit and debit. You can learn about sales. There's a million books out there. And you know what? There's books about sales, about money, about credit and debit, about scaling your business, about improving your habits. Like, there's a million books. And you know what's the funniest thing? All of us can read. And, there's people out there that's been successful that wrote recipe books, business books, recipe books on exactly how they did it, but we don't read them. It's like being sick and not wanting to go to the doctor. And then if you start reading these books and implementing these books, the rest will come.
Yeah.
So don't be afraid. Like, your question was, how do you start? Because I'm afraid to take the leap. I'm afraid to step into entrepreneurship and business because it's this scary big thing. If you find out what your dream is, how much money it will cost, and you take responsibility to make that happen and really take responsibility, then you'll start getting up earlier. You'll start going to bed later. You'll start reading the books that you need to do. You'll start taking action instead of chilling on the couch watching Netflix, because you're taking responsibility towards that dream. And then you'll figure out all the rest and you'll be able to do it.
Trust Albert on this. You will figure out the rest. I always love the quote by Tony Robbins. He says, a lot of times our problems in life are 20% strategy and 80% psychology. If you've got the psychology down, you can get a strategy, whether it's with your health, whether it's with business, whether it's with creating wealth. There are so many strategies out there. You can literally close your eyes and go into the financial and business section, take a book and actually apply what it says, and you will see results. But you've got to work on your psychology first, then implement the strategy, and then take freaking massive action.
And I'd never had accounting in high school even. I didn't have business subjects in high school. I didn't study entrepreneurship or business. I hear so many people out there saying that, I also want to start a business. I'm going to go study it. And so you don't need to. It's not that difficult. Entrepreneurship is not this big scary thing. It's actually a very natural thing. I think it's more natural than employment. If you go back in time and you look at when we just started, people just started, and there's a little small town. There was the baker, and that was the baker had a skill, a purpose, and the baker just sold his bread that he baked every morning. And then there was the tanner that worked with the leather and everything. That was his skill and his purpose, and he sold them. Then there was a blacksmith. And he just did what he naturally wanted to do, and that is work with steel. And he was able to sell his service or his product. And today, it's exactly the same. You just need to find out what that dream is, what that thing is that's your thing, and then take that thing and build a business around it. And and if you think that sounds scary, it's all yeah.
Yeah, read the book.
And there's a million more books just like this one that will teach you exactly how to build a business around that thing of yours. And to confirm what you've just said, Melissa, since a young age, I just started taking action. I tried a business, it failed. I read another book. I figured out how to do it better. I tried another business. I lost some money again. I tried another book. I read another book. I implemented, adapted my recipe, tried again, made lots of money. Okay, put that in the recipe. Okay, cool. Next one, lost a lot of money. Okay, great. Now put that in the recipe. Action, 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 never stopping, upping your recipe every time, reading more and more books to educate yourself. And then Bob's your uncle. You can have the wealth, and then something amazing happens. The wealth gives you freedom to experience the life that you want to live the life that you want to. And soon enough, your body starts giving you more and more serotonin, oxytocin, dopamine, and you start living life feeling more energized, more happy every day because you're doing what you love. And these things are reaffirming your state. And soon enough, you'll find that, hey, I'm super happy. For the last couple of months, I've just been happy and I've been living life and I've been enjoying it. And other people starts telling me, why do you look so happy? And, and in the beginning, when people started telling me that, I'm like, no, I'm just me. That's just who I am. I thought everybody was like this. And then they're like, no, not everyone's like that. But as soon as you start living that dream, because you can now afford it, then you'll see massive changes in your life. And that's what the book is about. Enabling people to buy their happiness, because unfortunately, the world has 3 rules: gravity, oxygen, and money. And you can't live without one of them. You need oxygen to breathe, you need gravity to stay on planet Earth, and you need money to live on planet Earth. So that is a crucial element towards your happiness. You won't be happy if you can't breathe. You won't be happy if you don't have gravity. And you certainly, won't be happy if you don't have money to even live life. You need to go out there and experience moments and do things and explore and be creative and create things. And money allows you to do that because it's the vehicle to do that. And that is the unfortunate truth. So the easiest answer is go figure out how money works. That's the easiest answer to that.
Albert, I think we're going to leave it on that note. And I'd love for everyone listening to this to really think about it. And if you'd like, just share it in a comment, share it in a positive review, or share it on social media with us. Where can people get to know you better? Where can people purchase your books? I'll share everything in the description below as always, but just let us know where we can find out more about you.
They can find me on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, all over the place. Albert van Wyk Official or Millionaire at 22. And then there's also the website where they can get the book, or it's in stores nationwide.
Brilliant. Thank you so much, Albert. And I just want to acknowledge you again for a moment, just the impact that you're making, the fact that you're sharing what you know so freely with people. I know even if you just have the honor of being like around you, just getting a drink or getting dinner, you so freely share all of your knowledge, all of your resources, that it's inspirational, and you make creating wealth seem possible. And I like that. You don't overcomplicate it. You simplify it to a point where someone with no knowledge, no background can say, I think I can do it. I think it's going to take like a whole different version of me, but I think I can do it. And I just want to acknowledge you for that. So thank you. Thank you for being here again. You are one of my favorite guests to always have. And I hope that you make an even bigger impact on everyone's lives in 2022. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. And to everyone out there, it is possible. If I can do it, so can you. Just go for it.
Thank you so much for tuning into this episode and taking the time to invest in yourself and in your future. If you loved this episode, be sure to share it with us by leaving a positive review or tagging us in a post or in your stories. Share one thing that stood out or inspired you to live your everyday life better. This helps us create more meaningful episodes for you to enjoy. If you're not already following us on social media, be sure to follow @LifeKraft for more inspiration and tools to help you live your most powerful life. And remember, you always have the power to craft a better life for yourself, and we are here to help you do just that. We'll connect again in the next episode, and until then, keep creating a life that you're excited to wake up to. We enjoy bringing you interviews from experts and everyday people so that they can talk about their experiences and share information, tips, and what has worked for them on their journey towards a better life. However, remember that the opinions or advice of our guests and myself, the host, should not be taken as personal, actionable advice and is given as general information and education only. Please always remember to consult a qualified professional before implementing any medical, financial, legal, or other advice that you believe might work for you. LifeKraft is not responsible nor liable for your decision when implementing anything you hear on the podcast. Please listen and act responsibly. The opinions of our guests do not represent the opinions or views of LifeKraft or Melissa LAINN personally and are meant as information and general education only.